My husband gave me a warning tap, and I called it abuse. Ada? Hey there, hope you're doing well. And today we're going to look at some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy Reddit stories, consider liking, subscribing, and maybe hitting that notification bell too. Let's get started with today's first story. Much love, everyone. Today's first story comes from my husband gave me a warning tap, and I called it abuse. As I am writing this, I am laying in bed with my mom. She's helping me gather my thoughts for some other opinions. I am F24 and my husband is M30. We've been together for 3 years and married for 1. This is a throwaway account just in case. About a week ago, my husband and I got into an argument over his phone, which he had misplaced. I was in the shower when he lost it, and when I came out he was throwing a fucking fit over it. He was like, "Where did you put it? Have you seen it?" Angrily yelling and snapping. I said I hadn't touched it and I needed to get dressed. My husband was standing in the doorway looking behind the door, so I couldn't open it. I said, "Hello, move please." Apparently my tone was rude because my husband turned around and shoved me into the room. I was like, "Okay, you need to calm down. I can help you look, but I gotta get dressed." He tells me to hurry up. I snap back. "I'm not gonna hurry up, it isn't my fucking fault." My husband turned around and hit me on my mouth with the back of his hand. It didn't even really hurt, but I was appalled. He called it a warning tap because of my attitude. I left right then and there. I called my mom and came over. I haven't left. My brother took me over the next day to get a few things. My husband asked me if all this really necessary, and I said, "Yeah, it is when you abuse your wife." He was so stricken that I called it abuse. He screamed at me for it. He said I can ruin his career if I use that word. I know that I can, and I know that he didn't even hurt me, but that's how I feel. He sent me several texts threatening to divorce me if I use that word again, or try to hurt his career by saying it's someone important. Ada for saying this, potentially citing this, and potentially ruining his career? Reaction 1 say, "Yeah, not only does he hit her, but he then starts with the threats to try and keep her mouth shut. The man is more concerned about his job and reputation than he is about smacking his wife in the face. It doesn't matter that it didn't hurt. That's just blind luck. Next time, and there will be a next time, it will hurt. There's only one direction from a warning tap, and it ain't down. Let him threaten divorce. It sounds more like a relief than a threat. Never tolerate being hit by your partner. That is gone for good behavior." Reaction 2 say, "My ex-husband started by punching the wall, escalated to punching the wall right next to me and telling me I was lucky he had self-control. I left before he ever actually hit me, but even threatening physical violence is abuse. I am positive that in those moments he truly wanted to hit me and would have eventually." Reaction 3 say, "Do some digging on court records and find someone who took one of his clients to the cleaners in a big settlement. A female who rinsed her husband for being abusive who kicked his client's ass in court. Also get a female lawyer. This dude will be driven up the wall by that. He is obviously the guy who hates being told what to do by women and feels that he should call the shots. Get right into his head and make him fucking angry. He might even lose it in court for you." Reaction 4 say, "He screamed at you, shoved you and hit you in the mouth. And then he called it a warning tap. Presumably meaning that if he didn't like how you were talking or your attitude, he'd hit you harder. That's abuse by any definition of the word. He wasn't stricken at you using the word abuse, he was angry, because abusing his wife is apparently not good for his career. Mind you, he's not sorry he screamed at you, shoved you, hit you, and threatened you. He's mad that he might get into trouble for it. Have your brother pack the rest of your things, file for divorce, and if anyone asks why, tell them he started abusing you because that's the truth. If he's worried that being accused of abusing his wife would be bad for his career, he could have tried not screaming at you, shoving you, hitting you, and threatening to hit you harder." Reaction 5 say, "This OP. He's not sorry he yelled at you. He felt entitled to. He's not sorry he shoved you. He felt entitled to because you didn't solve his problem or cower to him. He's not sorry he struck you on the mouth. He felt entitled to, as a warning, because you stood up for yourself and called him out. All of these are abuse. If he works with vulnerable people, he needs to be reported. You need your brother and the police present to pack your stuff and move out. Get a restraining order if possible. File for divorce. It will only get worse. Next time it could be he doesn't like dinner. Or you're spending too much time with your family and friends to isolate you. He will limit your access to finances. If you're on birth control, he may tamper with it. Think of your safety. Get out. Now. Reaction 6 say, "This is my husband and I lose our phones in our home all the time." Then just have the other call it. I'd wager he was freaking out because he thought she took it and that she was going to see that he was cheating. He was already pissed off at her because of his assumption. And the warning shot is definitely the first of many to come if she stays, indeed. She should divorce him, and considering his attitude, it might be tempting to give his workplace a heads up about their divorce in order to inform them of the cause of it, as a warning shot to him of what can happen to abusive pricks, although that might be too far if he doesn't escalate his nonsense further during the divorce. Reaction 7 say, "And it was abuse." Putting hands on someone isn't abuse only if it breaks skin or hurts at a 7+ on the pain scale. He shoved you, then he hit you. That is abuse. If he didn't want his career destroyed over this, then he shouldn't have raised his hands. He made bad choices. He must face consequence. Also, little question for him. If he isn't abusive, what was the warning tap hit to the face a warning of? Was he warning you he was going to tickle you, or that more violence was coming? Warnings are the thing that comes before the big bad scary, so his warning abuse was a warning of more abuse. Congratulations on your abusive STBX agreeing to divorce. Please publicly destroy his career and save the next woman. Reaction 8 say, "It's a question because, unfortunately, abusers have a way of making their victims feel as though it is their fault. I say this as a man that lived in an abusive relationship for years, her to me, not the other way around, both emotionally and physically. And for years I believed it was my fault. It took a lot of therapy and being with supportive folks before I realized that it was not, in fact, my fault. Unfortunately, as long as people can still get away with the she was asking for it excuse, which is still accepted by many people, this is how the abused folks will feel." Reaction 9 say, "The shove was enough. A warning tap to teach you better about your attitude? That's not a thing. This is abuse, pure and simple, and is only going to get worse. Following that up with threats? Fuck this guy. Far as I'm concerned, I would flush his career down the toilet, but I'm a vengeful little man. The other option is to pack your stuff, file for divorce, and serve the fucker with a restraining order. I'm going to turn this one over to you. What do you make of this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support, and time mean the world to me. So, thank you so much for being part of this. I really appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.